What is going on, YouTube people? New Cards and Comics here for another edition of the weekly sports card market update. No local sports card shows for me this weekend, but one of the promoters in the Cleveland area that runs a lot of the local sports card shows on Saturday rolled out, to the best of my knowledge, the area's first ever TCG only show. It was marketed as a Pokemon show, but all TCG non-sports was welcome. I did a vlog on it on the TCG channel, so you could go check it out over there if you want to see video footage of it. I'll just give a quick little synopsis. Very busy for a first-time show. Very busy, period. Some stark differences between this show and what I see at a normal sports card show. But it was kind of crazy how busy it was. Like I said, first time out of the gate. It was initially marketed as 60 tables, and then it jumped to like 100 tables because they sold out of tables so quickly. And the demand seemed to be there. I would not be surprised if I see more of these pop up in my local area, because it definitely seems like there is a audience, both of dealers and shoppers, to support a TCG only show. And I wonder if we start seeing more and more of these pop up over or all over the country. I'd be curious to know, does anyone have TCG only shows? I'm talking like the local card show equivalent to a TCG show, not like your giant collecticons, like your 100 table school gymnasium show. That's kind of what this one was. So went to that this weekend. Didn't buy anything, just kind of went and walked around and kind of did a vibe check. But it was just interesting to see. And there were some very noticeable differences. You can go check those out over on the TCG channel. Before we dive too deep, shout out to channel partner ComC.com. We'll be talking more about them in a minute as we dig into tariff nonsense. But if you are not currently using ComC, what are you waiting for? One, if you're shopping for baseball cards, the leadoff auction event they have running right now has some absolutely insane stuff in it. That Otani that you see at the top there, the red ink Topps Heritage Auto, is a monster of a card. And they have a Bobby Witt red ink as well running right now at auction. It is absolutely craziness, some of the high-end stuff rolling through there for auction. So even if you're not looking to sell, you can always go over and look to buy. So as always, shout out to ComC for sponsoring today's video. Let's just kind of dive right in here. The couple big overarching narratives of the week: PSA and eBay direct grading, and then tariffs impact on the hobby. And I don't think we have seen the ending of the impact. ComC has put out, you can find this over on their Instagram page, or pause the video if you want to look at it. But ComC has now put out an official statement on it and how they are reacting to it. I don't have it pulled up here, but I saw that Ship My Cards, which is a service I've never used before, but I know is very, very popular and very, very, very good based off of feedback that I've seen, but I have no firsthand experience with them. Ship My Cards has put out some verbiage on what they're doing with tariffs and how it's impacting them. Obviously, PSA had their major update in regards to tariffs and what they're doing. I saw Beckett came out and said, hey man, just do your thing. CGC, I don't believe, has said anything, and I don't know that SGC has said anything yet either. But PSA has kind of drawn the line in the sand and stopped direct shipments, though I believe bulk shipments will still potentially work. So you just have to go through a middleman service if you're sending from overseas. You just can't submit directly at the time being. And we're all kind of in uncharted waters here. And like I said, I don't think this is the end of this. Though most cards are printed here, I would, I wonder how much of the supplies and the things that they use to print the cards are not made here. I've already seen a lot of chatter on the TCG side of things about Japanese Pokemon, because a lot of people collect foreign language Pokemon. Could potentially be a problem. A lot of Magic the Gathering cards are not printed in the United States. Some stuff is, some stuff is not. So that could be another area impacted. And like I said, I don't know that we've seen the impact on the sports card side of things yet. I have to imagine supplies. To me, that's the biggest one that always pops up, are supplies. Penny sleeves, top loaders, card savers, that sort of thing. I can't imagine much of that stuff is made here, and a lot of it's imported, and we could potentially see either delays, shortages, or just straight price increases on supplies at some point in time. Hell, it's getting serious when Nintendo delayed pre-orders for the Switch, which is supposed to be coming out pretty quickly. I think pre-orders were supposed to go live this week, and they ended up delaying that because of the tariffs. So I think this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to tariffs' impact on the overall hobby. I'm not even considering what it's done to just the real world economy at the moment, the stock market, etc. That's going to put some fear into collectibles. It's probably going to impact people's spendings. Not everybody's, but definitely some's. So there is some probably big ripple effects from this that we don't even know about yet. But it's definitely worth something keeping an eye on. We mentioned PSA. I forgot to mention it because the special kind of is whatever. They do have a PSA pricing special this month. It's Express and Super Express only. This is now 2 months in a row. They have not put out any sort of meaningful special. And if you've been following along, it's not surprising. The last thing they need is more cards coming in the door, though this tariff thing may have unintended consequences of helping them get caught up slightly. In other PSA news, there was obviously the big discussion of the week with the director grading with eBay, as that is now live and rolled out. I did a second, more deep dive video on that on Saturday. So if you want more information on that, go check it out. And if you're even thinking about considering using this service, I would recommend going over and watching that, because there's some really important information that you need in there, specifically around when the sale is finalized and things of that nature. So go over and check that video out. It's the second video I've done on the PSA eBay thing since that initially launched last weekend. And then, like I said, obviously PSA was in the news for the tariff stuff. This one snuck up midweek. We talked about this a couple of months ago, that Tom Brady took a 50% ownership in Card Vault. They are now going to be opening up their first, location under this new joint venture. It'll be in New Jersey in the American Dream Shopping and Entertainment Complex, which is right next to MetLife Stadium, kind of like how Card Vault is next to the Patriot Stadium. So we'll see what this thing looks like once it's up and running. I believe this is a rendering of it. 1,200 square foot retail space. And we'll see how many more of these pop up. They definitely like to go around stadiums, it seems like, as Chris Costa had success outside I think it's at Patriots Place. I don't remember exactly the location of it, but I know that it's right around the stadium there somewhere. So Tom Brady card shops begin to filter in, and that's like a free marketing machine for him, because all he has to do is show up and sign autographs for an hour, and they'll get a line 8 miles long of people wanting to get into the store, flip down his Rolodex and get some of his friends to show up for some autograph signings or appearances, and you can immediately pack the shop just based strictly off of that. So huge advantage for him on that one. This actually came down right after I think I recorded last week's weekly sports card market update. The Otani Topps Dynasty Black 1/1 Logo Man sold at Heritage for over $1 million. I normally don't focus too much on high end, but this actually ties back to a video we did not super long ago about these, how I kind of think these in-moment cards with game-used memorabilia from a specific, very hyper-specific thing are going to be the future of high-end. And then all of a sudden, this Otani sells, and it's the all-time record for any Otani card ever. And it's not a rookie card. It is a 101 MLB debut patch from the game, or not debut patch, MLB Logo Man patch from the game where he cracked the 50-50 barrier. So massive milestone and massive price tag. Now, I am sure there's probably a lot of super rare Otani rookie stuff that just has not surfaced since everything went nutty and since he had his big season and, you know, all that craziness. So I'm sure there is probably some rookie card that could maybe outdo this one, but I don't know. Either way, this is a massive sale for a non-rookie card of a player. I'd almost wonder, and maybe someone has done this somewhere, like what the top 5 non-rookie card sales are out there, just period, regardless of player, because usually the rookie card's the one that gets all the hype. But now, kind of like I thought, these hyper-specific game-used event cards with crazy patches are getting a massive, massive premium. Speaking of the top side, big week this week as Bowman will be releasing on the 9th. No pricing information yet, or configuration. I'm sure hobby boxes and jumbo box. Here's a prediction. Hobby boxes and jumbo boxes will be super expensive. The internet will be mad about it. Boxes will sell out nearly instantly, and breakers will have a field day. That is what I predict for Bowman. Depending on prices, I may try to snag one. We'll see. I believe, and once again, I am not a prospect guy, but someone please feel free to correct me down below. I believe this checklist is supposed to be pretty good. And if that is the case, look out. The bots will be running wild on you come April 9th. If you're going to chase this, I will probably post a link for it sometime during the week. I do have a Topps affiliate account where I can make some micro pennies off of your transactions if you decide to degen. Like I said, I will probably degen on a box if I can actually get one checked out. Hopefully this drop goes better than the frickin' Topps Heritage drop a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned this in another video. The Courtyard IO, we kind of have this like little tracking thing that we could do now on them. Just to kind of toss it in here to kind of wrap up March. They did almost 50 million in March in repacks, up from 43 million in February. I should say that's beyond just repacks. That's also marketplace transactions. But let's be honest, a large bulk of that is happening on the repack side of things. And already in April, they're at 6.5 million, and it's only the 5th. It's halfway through the 5th when I'm recording this on Saturday afternoon. And this is just Courtyard. Imagine what Arena Club's doing. Imagine what Instant Rips is going to do once it's up and running. This is something I'm going to keep an eye on going forward because it could be an interesting leading indicator if the repack market ever slows down now that we actually have some tracking numbers behind the scenes. And, you know, I ran into secondhand at one of my recent local shows. Someone that buys for Courtyard is here at my small little 60 table local show buying for Courtyard repacks. So they are out there and they are everywhere. Those dirty repack buyers that keep all the liquidity going in the hobby. Still scares the hell out of me how much of the hobby, I should say rather, is being propped up by repacks. The other big release this week, Bowman University 2024-2025. Cooper Flag autos hitting the market in mass with their first big release. I do not know what has happened in the Final Four yet. I am getting ready to watch that as soon as I finish recording this video. I'm recording this and it's going to end basically right as the Final Four tips off. So I don't know if Duke won yet or not. There really isn't even that many completed sales yet for Cooper Flag. But a lot of his auctions are going very strong, as you can see here. Couple $100, $600 for various Cooper Flag autos, and he will be the poster boy, the golden boy for Topps later this year when they get the NBA license. It'll be a very interesting draft lottery this year to focus in on. Let's flip over and look at market movers really quick. Link in the description down below if you want to play around with your own version of charts and graphs. Baseball season is underway, and a couple of players have gotten off to hot starts. Probably one of the biggest winners so far this year is one Christian Campbell of the Boston Red Sox. One of their top prospects. I think Roman Anthony's their actual number one prospect. I think Christian Campbell was in their top 2 or 3. He broke with the team, is having a strong start to the season, just signed a massive extension, and his card prices have gone up to reflect it. PSA 10 first Bowman, just a base Bowman auto, up 90% since the beginning of the year. And the raw version of that card is up 143%. Now, he seems like a very good baseball player. I don't know that he is a quote-unquote superstar baseball player. This seems a little expensive in regards to buying his stuff. But as we all know, FOMO wins 99% of the time when it comes to these cards. The other playing have on a hot start, Aaron Judge. And I just wanted to look at something a little lower end here. His Topps Chrome Refractor, 2017 PSA 10, up about 25% over the last few months. And his base, just Topps Chrome, good old fashioned, nothing fancy, also up about 22% on that one. So Aaron Judge stuff is beginning to tick up as he is having a very, very strong start. The Yankees have been in the crosshairs of the season a ton already because of the torpedo bats. Now, I don't believe Judge is using one, but Volpe and Jazz Chisholm have gotten off to big starts on the power side of things using those bats, I believe. So we'll see what sort of impact those have. I even saw that Topps Now, of course, because they'll make a Topps Now card for anything. There was a Topps Now card featuring the torpedo bat in the photo. So if you want to head down that rabbit hole, you can. Last one, we'll keep this one a little short today. SGA, switching over to NBA. Your presumptive NBA MVP, he is the betting market leader by a mile, and his card prices have performed. PSA 10 Silver Prism up 167% on the season. I ran this back to the beginning of October. His Optic Hollow up 112% on the season. Probably, I didn't sit down and look at like every NBA player. Maybe we'll do that in a video when the season wraps up here in a couple of weeks. We'll run some charts and graphs and see what players actually went up the most in season and who went down the most in season. But SGA has to be one of the biggest winners of this NBA season, with the Thunder having a monster season win-loss wise, and also SGA having an MVP level season, along with the one and only Cleveland Cavaliers. That's right, my boys. I assume Donovan Mitchell's stuff have been performing quite well. Every time I've checked in on it, it seems like it's been going up as the season went on. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up there so I can get sneak off and go watch some Final Four action. We will catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.